Interesting, really interesting setup. You should go down and check out what they've got there. Maybe drop a donation if you can, and if you can and you're online here, please do use the Tiltify link in the stream chat to donate. All the proceeds will be going to them. We are currently at a grand total of £1,367.50, and hopefully we'd like to make that to 1,500 by the end of the day. So Rebel, when you're ready, without further ado, take it away.
Cool. Whenever.
Give us a countdown, go for it, man.
Yeah, cool. So, cool. I'm back again.
He's back again, he never left.
Yeah, I never left. So we're going to play some Auqa beginner. So we start timing from the character select screen, so I'm just going to get into it, and then I'll give a countdown. So obviously this is Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Yeah.
When did we start the timer?
Give me you know when we start the timer. God's sake, Auqa.
But Rebel,
you would just speed run.
I want to press the button.
Right, so 3, 2, 1, go. Right, so the first thing we got to do is you got to do orbs. Orbs is a tutorial fight which you do with 2 computer characters that ruin this fight way more than they should. So I'm going to try and go for a combo at the start that kills 2 orbs straight away. I didn't get it. So I'm just going to kill that one.
Yeah, orbs is a very intensive reset point for you.
Yes, it is. So
that's the first wave, more or less.
So second wave, I bubble blaster. So you have strategy you do on this, but cool. Right, so last wave, I'm gonna go in the middle of these. Cool. I have no idea what that was. What was that, Auqa? Time, what's time?
Wait, what the time? About 1:11.
That's terrible.
You'd like to get sub 1 in that, really.
Yeah, you want, ideally you want sub 1. Generally, I'm disappointed with anything above the 58s, you know, SMH. Right, so the first world I'm going to is Castle of Dreams. So there are 2 things I've got to do in this world. There is an escort mission I've got to complete, and then there's a boss I've got to fight. Right, so now I get into the main movement of this game, which is cartwheeling. So every character's main piece of movement is their dodge. So when I'm dodging, I'm actually timing the input between each one, because if you mash, you get less distance slightly. Saves a tiny amount of time in like, every room where we do this movement. Cool. I'm not used to this screen. Alright, cool. So I'm going to pick up another chest down here. That was silly, right? There's a barrier surge here.
Yeah, so in contrast to Auqa Critical, which was shown at UKSM last year, obviously that was critical mode, and the route for this was quite difficult because we obviously can't make exploit of the level 1 mechanic. Instead, we're going to be using really a lot of fires, which Rebel really loves.
Yep. So what I just did there was a pause cancel. If you open up the main pause menu, you cancel whatever animation you're in and you go back to neutral. So that's fine, I missed it. And then when you exit the menu, you can start moving again instantly. So I've used that there in certain screens. Right, so I also use a D-Link there. D-Links are basically, you get decks of people that you've met, and they have different command decks and things. I'll get into more about them later because we use them in one kind of big segment of the run. Right, so this is the escort mission. So I have to take the mouse shark from one side of the room to the other side of the room. He has about 5 patterns that he can go through. Ideally, you want spawnless, but also you want one which gives you EXP as well. So you want a bit of EXP, but you also want him not to spawn too many enemies. Cool. Right, so here I'm going to try and push this enemy away from him. So he goes to the end. Cool, that was actually fairly good. And there's a couple of enemies there, so I'll pick up an extra kill. Cool. So the reason why I'm thinking about EXP, because this is beginner, EXP is very important. You need to hit certain stat caps in the beginning of the game. Otherwise, otherwise you just lose time because your damage is not high enough. So I'm looking to get level 4 before the 3rd world boss. So this is the first boss. This is Curse Coach. So I'm just going to try and get into Spellweaver, and then going to stun lock him. Cool. So the finisher of Spellweaver will actually stun lock him. Oh, this is not a good situation. Okay, that's fine. So ideally you want to get the knockdown there as well. So here I'm just going to attack him a bunch. Oh, thanks. I'm getting lovely RNG here, but that's fine. This should be the end of this boss. Cool. So that was kind of slow, but the kind of pattern of attacks I got was not the best. Right, so that's the end of Castle of Dreams. We are going to Dwarf Woodlands next. So the game gives you a choice of Enchanted Dominion or Dwarf Woodlands. We go to Dwarf Woodlands first, mainly because there's some things we need to pick up there in order to have enough money for a shop menu that I need to do. But also it's not exactly faster to go to this world later. So we just go now. I'm going to go over here. There's a poison chest I'm going to pick up. So poison is a damage over time ability. It affects the next boss, so I'm going to use it in the next boss. So, cool. And I'm going to pick up this next chest here right at the end, which is a high potion. And then, cool. So, another room we've got to go through. Then I'm going to do a sequence break. So there's a chest I'm going to pick up in this next room that you're not meant to grab until you have high jump, which you get at the end of this world. But you can kind of wedge yourself between the wall and the hedge to the left and get up here. So this chest contains Fission Firaga, which is basically an end game Firaga attack. Menus, please. Cool. So that's basically an end game Firaga attack. So I've used it to get it there. Pick up another fleeting chest there. Then I'm going to do some movement into the next boss. So another thing is, if you dodge off of ledges, you actually skip a slight animation where you go into your form. It takes like a quarter of a second, but the more you do it, the more it goes up. Right, so that there, when you go into a D-Link, you have to be stationed on the ground. So if you're in the air or jump, the game just plummets you to the ground so it can take you into the D-Link easier. So next is the boss fight with Magic Mirror. So I'm going to try and keep poison on him for the whole fight while doing other attacks just to try and damage him. So I've got to get this first attack in. Cool. Single hit, fire. Blizzard. Cool, I go into Spellweaver now. So he'll get knocked down after the 7th hit. Just do a slight combo here. Poison. Now I'm going to stall a little bit. Bad RNG.
If you look right there, you see the Firaga did this ridiculous amount of damage.
This is a ridiculous
shows how
amount of damage.
much better it is than the other options you have at this point of the game.
So now in this corridor one, I've got to find him. There he is. So I'm going to poison. I'm going to let him get away from me. And then I'm going to... I was hoping that would kill him. There we go. So the pattern of attacks that that guy gives you is completely random. He's got 4 separate attacks that he'll do on every cycle. There's only one of them that you actually can't do anything about. You can just kind of wait out and then use poison on him, but it just loses time because you can't do much damage and you can't stun him afterwards. He runs away straight away. Right, so now we're going to go to Enchanted Dominion. Right, cool. Right, so I'm going to do a bit of movement, and then I'm going to do a shop menu because I need to buy some commands that I'll use for basically the rest of the game. Cool. I'm just going to go through all these guys. I don't need to fight any of the goons around here. We actually used to level up to level 2 before this point and then gain some EXP here, but we don't actually need it. We changed the XP route slightly so we can do it a bit later. So here I'm going to sell that, sell that, sell that, sell that, sell that. And then I'm going to buy 4 of them and 1 of them. Change my Keyblade because I need one with more strength. Right, so now I'm going to do a bit of movement here just to grab another endgame command early. Please, game.
Yeah, these enemies are notorious for just always sniping you.
Yeah, you just got, like, sometimes goons just come up behind you, but nothing you can do about that. I messed up my attack there. I messed up the timing, so I didn't get what I needed. What I needed is for Auqa to do the thing where she dashed up. And the timing's a bit weird on PS4 because of how this game was ported. They changed it from 30 FPS to 60 FPS. So this game does weird things sometimes. So magnet, and then thunder. Magnet here. These guys all come towards me, then I can fire. And they should all be dead. So I'm 13 away from level 2, which isn't actually that bad. So now I'm going into Goons 2. So Goons 2 is a little bit longer than that fight. There's actually kind of specific ways you got to go about that fight, the next fight, with how spawns work and what enemies you have to kill for your partner Philip to actually move on to what he's supposed to do next. So there are 2 goons in the middle that I'm going to kill, and then there's some that spawn on the right, and then I work my way back through the room, making sure to pick off any of them that are dropping in. Okay, Philip got that one. I'm going to pick off those guys.
There you go.
Nice. That was actually useful.
So you don't want Philip to take anything at all, really, because if he takes your CP, then that'll affect your commands and them leveling up, which is kind of helpful for routing.
Yeah. So basically what decks I'm using are not only based on what I need to level up for later, it's also based on what's faster for the... I can't do that today, dude. I'm just gonna go back around. I have to be careful how I move around here. There's enemies that I can spawn that if I spawn them, some of the enemies around here don't spawn correctly. Nice, so they all died. Make sure I get those guys. Because of how this has worked out, I'm going to have to go back around here. Okay, there he is. And then I can just go around and kill these guys now. So now I get to do this. Right, so now I get to hit the cog through the floor because of when you use a command on the other side of the wall, it actually goes, because my Keyblade went through the wall, the command goes through the wall. So I'm going to do a quick menu here. So I'm going to grab some magic case. So what magic case do is they increase the speed that my magic commands will recharge. So all my commands that I've got in the corner will now recharge slightly faster. So after this room, I need to pick up some EXP just to make sure I hit level 4 for the next boss fight, because the next level up is actually a magic increase. And in this game, one magic stat one stat in general is actually a lot bigger than it should be. That applies to most KH games where like one stat increase can basically make or break your build. Cool, so they're all dead. There's 3 guys that spawn here. I'm gonna hit them once, and then I'm gonna do that. So that one hit I did actually delays the, actually makes it so the enemies that spawn afterwards get hit by the fission Farraga that I use, dealing most of their health. So it just makes it a little bit faster than trying to catch them in multiple magnets or use a Spell Weaver finisher or something. So this is the boss fight with Dragon Mal. The fight intends you to sit in front of her and attack her, but no, you can just go sit behind her and just like go.
Very big hitbox.
So she does give me a decent pattern to start with. When she starts with fire, there's a chance that she might not do another fire attack cycle. Ah, she didn't. I'm going to use Spell Weaver finisher on her now, do as much damage as I can. So, getting some extra damage there. Getting some more damage there. Right. Cool. I'm going to just spam some commands here. Oh, lovely, I fell off. That can happen sometimes. You just fall off for no reason. If that happens, you've got to chase her down. So I'm just getting slightly bad patterns here. Just wasting time now. Right, so she's going to come back around and she'll die from this next attack. Cool. So that's Dragon Mal. So that fight, if you get a flightless time, you save 30 seconds. If you don't and you get what happened to be there, you lose 30 seconds. It's just how that fight works. It's completely pattern-based. There's nothing that you can do about it. The pattern that you need to get flightless is she'll stamp on the ground, and the ground stamps last for so long that you kill her before she gets a chance to do anything if you're fast with your commands and your damage in general. Right, so next we're going to go to Radiant Garden for a little bit. We're going to do a bit of Radiant Garden, and then we're going to leave, and then we're going to go, and then we'll do the second half afterwards. So in this first bit, I'm going to do a quick menu here. Put on Fairy Stars for the extra magic, and then I need to put on some commands that I need to level up. So Magna and Arrow. Jump up here. Cool. So I'm going to use another D-Link here. I'm going to use Snow White. Because of how D-Links work, they all have different abilities and stuff. So I'm going to Sleepy. And Grumpy's actually Treasure Raid. So I can get an Abounding Crystal drop straight away by just throwing it. So what Treasure Raid does is it tries to force a drop from an enemy. So it makes getting that drop easier, because that drop at this point in the game is like 4% or something. It's really, really low. It's not worth trying to get it. So that just makes it a lot easier to get that. And that creates a very, very vital ability to this run. So now this is what we know as Mickey fights, because we have Mickey with us. So at the start of this fight, I'm going to do Magnet, Magnet, then Arrow. Oh no, one of them didn't get caught. And I'm gonna stand in the middle and magnet. I'm just trying to use my commands in ways that will make sure that enemies spawn and come into it. Right, so now I'm gonna go. Cool. That was actually a very good fight. So basically, you just want to make sure that everything gets caught in magnets. The birds that spawned are arch ravens, so they will only attack you if there are drops on the floor. Otherwise, they run away from you. They don't care about you. So next, I'm going to do a quick menu here. So basically, I do half a menu now, and then I do the other half in a minute. So I'm going to use the abounding. Oh, what am I doing? Zero grav. So what I made there is an ability called EXP Walker. And what EXP Walker does is every time my feet leave the ground, or what the game considers a step. So even attacking counts as taking a step because your feet move. So basically, so whenever my feet leave the ground and come back, I gain, I think it's 2 experience. So and cartwheels count as like a number of steps, so you can abuse it quite heavily. I'm gonna sell Aurora, Ice Barrage, and Stop, and buy 6 of them. Right, so what I am going to do here is I'm going to do something that everyone loves to hear in a speed game. It's a grinding section. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Mickey dealing drops. Mickey's second dealing ability is actually double EXP, so it makes getting EXP so much easier. The only issue is it's random when the game decides to give you the drop. So you just got to hit enemies until it gives it to you. Cool.
There you go, there's one.
I got it. Pick up that. Cool. I did that to refill my D-Link afterwards, just to make sure it was at full. Alright, so now I can move on to the next room. Get around that, please. Right, so next room I need to get the next dealing drop. Thank you. So now what I do is I just go around this room, picking up enemy kills and a terror dealing drop as well, because I need that for movement. Well, I just need some drops here.
As you can see, he's already gone up 2 levels in approximately 20 seconds there.
So, Arg, if you have anything you want to talk about at any point, you can just go ahead.
All right. So at the moment, we don't have any other donations coming in, but please, if you do and you can, please give to Special Event. All our donations here will be going to them. We also have some merch available as well. I believe we have a few t-shirts and a few hoodies available. You should be able to see them on stream. You can also use the merch command in chat as well as the donate command in chat to get the links to the donation page. So how long do you need to grind for in your Rebel?
I need to grind to level 15. So it's a long grind. Not really. It's like 3 or 4 room entries. I'm also looking for enemy drops as well. It's not going too well at the moment.
But as far as I'm aware, this is the only grind section in the game.
Yeah.
So it's not as bad as other titles then?
Nah. I had to YOLO the thing there. So basically, the game's not being nice to me with drops right now, so I don't know how well this is going to go. Basically, I just enter and exit the D-Link over and over and over again. in specific ways just to get as much stuff as possible. Shivering Crystal, that's not bad. Right, I want one more fleeting drop if possible. 2 more would be good. That's a pulsing drop, that's all I want. Pulsing drop's okay, but it's not what I want, ideally.
So what made you decide to run Birth by Sleep then?
What?
What made you decide to run Birth by Sleep over any of the other Kingdom Hearts games?
Length and nostalgia.
Fair enough.
Because it's one of the shorter games, especially on the PS4 version now. So it's one of the easiest to kind of just get into, because you can just kind of do runs over and over and over again. Because they're so short that knocking out a no reset is not that hard. Cool. One more room.
And is that what your favorite category to run?
It changes depending on the mood I'm in. What category I run in this game depends on what I've submitted to what. I kind of let the marathons decide for me what I'm running, because I like all the categories in this game.
We gotta get you in to do the Trinity one day. Aqua, Terra, and Ven back to back.
You mean all stories?
Yeah!
I've done all stories before.
Trinity sounds cooler though.
Right, cool. I'm slightly over leveled, but I had to do that. Because I needed some drops. Cool. There's a chance that either of those can turn into what's called Raging Storm, which is lovely. So now I can just leave. I'm 1 level over what I should be, because I wasn't actually, I'll be real, I wasn't paying attention to what level I was. I was more worried about getting enough drops.
Will the RNG be true?
Oh, that's it for RNG.
God dang it.
Just the RNG of the bosses left.
Yeah, just boss RNG left.
Every time, man. Every time you do these runs, you get the items you need.
Well, to be fair, in this run, I kill so much stuff that if you don't, it's an awful run. Like, unlike Terra, where you kill, like, not as many. Right, so, now I'm a really overpowered level, because generally what level you were when you originally did, when you usually come into this the boss I'm coming into now, most people that enter at like level 7. I'm currently, you're meant to be level 16, I'm currently 17 because I over-level slightly, but... So this boss just gets absolutely destroyed by basically anything that you can do. So this boss has 3 separate health bars because he's in 3 parts. So each part of Trinity armor you kill, there is a set of legs, an arm, set of arms, and the head. Just gonna body him some more. Do some damage. So I just got to wait out this attack. He's invincible during this attack, so. She died from that. Yeah, cool. So that was actually a very good fight. Right. So now, right. So basically, the end of this world is basically a boss fight. I now got some movement, and then I go to another boss. Right, so I'm gonna, in the room after this one, I'm gonna do another D-Link drop to get to the ground faster. But this room's kind of just a bit of awkward movement. It looks like you could actually jump down the bars and things, but no, there are invisible walls there. This game would be too good if you could just like jump over everything. So this room here is Fountain Court. I'm gonna prepare Terra, jump and go. I missed the enemy there. So when I'm slide dashing, I'm trying to hit enemies. Because slide dash is a combo move, when you hit an enemy, it cancels all of the recovery animation. So so you can then move straight away or attack straight away. But it also means you can cancel it into a cartwheel, which means you can then get a burst of speed forward. So we use slide dashes just for base movement, just to try and burst around as much as possible. So this guy's affected by magnet. So I'm just going to keep him in a magnet for the whole time. Keeping a magnet the whole time. I messed up slightly there because my thing wasn't over the right command. I'm just going to body him with some blade charge. Cool. So 2 magnets makes that fight incredibly free. You just keep him locked in magnet because he can't do anything, and then you kill him. Right. So next I've got to do the traditional Birth by Sleep experience, which is I've got to go Disney Town, and I've got to play a mini game.
Yay, mini game.
This is objectively the worst one.
It's the best one.
It's the best one, but it's the worst one.
It's your bathroom break one.
Yeah. Imagine a 50-minute category having a bathroom break.
Gotta make sure.
Right, so I've got to go play around with the classic, the fruit ball.
It's basically volleyball.
Yeah, I play some volleyball with some shoes. So I'm going to try and score, well, should I go for 40 points?
I'd say go for it, yeah.
Go for it, cool.
Oh, you're getting bodied already.
Getting bodied already, dude, not like this. So usually in this, you can get to 15 points, then you can put the controller down, and then you don't have to play for like 2 minutes. And the enemy AI is so bad that they just don't score. Half the time they score on themselves. Oh, that was a bad shot. Nope.
It's a close game so far.
Close game. 40 points is not going to happen.
Oh,
I'm going to get
they
to
got one
15
on
and
you.
put the controller down. Right, so...
See, I didn't know Fruit Ninja got DLC.
What?
I said I didn't know Fruit Ninja got DLC.
I know, right? I didn't know I could play as Kingdom Hearts characters in Fruit Ninja. Oh, dude, the double. Alright.
Just need a couple more. The best thing of this is there's actual mechanics to this, or like.
Oh yeah, there are. There's I'm like aiming the ball. The grapes as well can break into multiple things. The bananas can actually put down as banana peels on the ground and trip people up. I'm just not going to play now.
All right, bye, Rebel.
I'm just going to chill.
Well, while you're waiting for that, we do have a £10 donation from Demole with no message, so thank you very much for your donations, putting our total up to £1,377.50. Do keep your donations coming in, and we are eternally thankful for them. So what's up?
Not much. What's up with you?
Donations?
Hell yeah. You should get to chill. They just bounce around and do whatever.
It's
They scored on themselves. It's just, they score on themselves a lot of the time. You can actually, if you really, really need to like leave for a minute, they score themselves again.
Why are you still scoring, but you're not holding the controller?
Oh, because
What
they
is
score on
this?
themselves.
You want me to try and score one?
Do you want to go on?
Sure.
This is now co-op.
Ah,
I'm probably gonna lose this for you.
They have to score 9 points in 25 seconds. There's only one person I've ever seen lose this in a run, and I've seen someone go to sudden death.
There's actually sudden death.
If you both have exactly the same score, when it hits 0, it goes into sudden death, and the first person to score wins.
That's how sudden death works.
They put a lot of effort into this mini game for some reason.
There's mechanics, dude. There are tiers of difficulty.
You win! But you won like 2 minutes ago.
I did. That's the end of that. All right, so now, no more Disney Town, no more minigame. We're all good. No more minigames. Now I'm going to OC. So I'm going to OC first because I need to go through 10 rounds. Basically what this prevents from happening is there's a damage drop-off when you go to deep space too early. So basically it helps me keep my damage as high as possible if I go here first. Because your damage is automatically really good here. Cool, so I'm just going to do that. No, I meant you can just spell Weaver here. And I'm gonna attack these guys. Vision. Once go down here. Magnet. Magnet. And then just finish him off. Oh, if Auqa doesn't whiff, that would be helpful. There you go. So ideally you want to get into Blade Charge there. My command kind of stuff didn't work out in the right way. So I didn't get Blade Charge, so I just kind of had to play with what I got. Alright, so now I'm going 10 rounds. So 10 rounds is 10 timed fights. The whole idea is you've got to finish each of the 10 rounds before the time is up. Luckily, it's incredibly easy because you're so high leveled, so it doesn't really matter. Cool.
It's mainly reusing enemies from the first 3 worlds here.
Yeah, yeah. So these guys come in now. So with this, I try and jump in the middle of them and fission fire Auqa because that basically kills them all in one go. It didn't really work out there. That guy had a little bit of health left. It depends on what part of the fission they get hit by. These guys will get me into Blade Charge, and then I can just go kill them like that. I'm gonna get RNG. Nope. You can actually get a cure drop from those guys if you get good luck. 1, 2, 3. So basically, at the end of each round, I'm also trying to like make sure my deck's over the right moves, so I can make sure that like I'm using the right stuff at the start of each round. Round 8. So the next round I'm going to use Mind Square, so I'm going to set up Mind Square. I'm going to cartwheel to the middle of these guys and just Mind Square, and they should all die. Yeah, and if you magnet afterwards, they get pulled in and killed by Mind Squares anyway. So this is the last wave, so these are jelly shades. They don't all spawn at the same time. You've got to kill some and then the others spawn. They should end. Cool. You have to kind of move the camera around slightly, and sometimes they just take longer to spawn than other times. Right, so now I'm going to leave and I'm going to go deep space. Basically, because now my damage cutoff is not as bad, I'm going to go deep space. So I get thrown straight into a force fight here. So I'm just going to go around and do what I've been doing, which is Mind Square magnets and fires, just to make sure that everything dies in the right way. I'm trying to get into Blade Charge at the right point. Attack those guys, fire on them. Go.
Soon we'll be coming to Rebel's favourite part of the run.
Oh, my all-time favourite part of the speed run. So the next fight, I call it fight. It's another mini game, but it's a fight technically. So the next fight I've got to do is a fight in space on the Keyblade transportation thing. We call it the Keyblade bike. So we know this is bike mini game. So luckily, because I'm so high leveled, my damage is actually increased in this. So it's a lot easier to finish it fast. The controls are slightly weird as well because it's a minigame control scheme. So X is shoot, and then you've got to jump and all this other stuff, but enemies are kind of circling around the room and they try and attack you at different times. Sometimes they attack you or don't attack you at all. Other times they are aggro, like all of them aggro at once, and other times some of them don't. So I'm just going to sit in the middle. Try and do as much damage as possible throughout. See, 3 of them came here once there for no reason.
I wish we got more of the Keyblade armor stuff.
What?
Being able to play it in the base game would have been really cool.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of trying to stay in the middle and pick them off as they decide to come past me. Okay, I got the double spawn. Sometimes one just spawns at the end. There you go. That was actually fairly good for a no reset run.
There were 56 instances of take that or gotcha.
Yes, oh, yeah, exactly. Were you counting?
Yes.
For God's sake. Cool, so now, hopefully these guys aggro on me in the right way. I can just kind of pick them off. Right, so now we're going into what we call Stitch fight, because Stitch is with us, the same as Mickey fight. That's the reason why we call it that.
You fight the character as much as the enemies.
Yeah. Kill that guy. I'm trying to get that guy to spawn in, and then I'm going to go back here. Place down Mine Square. That was very good. That was a very good fight. So basically the Mine Square I placed down was not only to kill the guy that was caught in the magnet, but it also kills the guys that spawn in afterwards. Right, I'm see what my money situation's like. Sell, what am I doing? Sell that. Sell both of them. You know what? Buy 2 of them. 2 of them. So depending on your money situation there, you can actually, there's a chest that you can skip later that saves 8 seconds. Skip it. So there's a Fire Auqa chest in Neverland at the end of the run that you can skip if you get enough money there to buy another Fire Auqa. I didn't then, so it wasn't worth trying to like sell a bunch of stuff and then make sure I had enough. It's actually better just to go grab the chest. Cool, so right, so now I'm going to fight some Gantu. So the way Gantu works is Gantu will attack you based on kind of where you're stood in correlation to him. If you're stood far enough away, he will always try and go for the gun attacks. But if you stood right in front of him, he will try and swipe at you or he'll dash at you. So I'm going to run away from him slightly. He'll go for that again. Then I'm going to Mine Square and kill him. Cool. That was actually a good fight. So Gantu has like 4 or 5 moves that he'll do. As I said, they're kind of proximity based. When you do that fight enough, you understand exactly where you need to be standing at all points. Alright, cool. So now I'm going to look at menu here. Got on Hyperdrive. So Hyperdrive has 1 more strength point than the Keyblade I had on, which is why I need to put it on. So now we're coming up to the boss fight with Zack. So Zack has probably one of the coolest strats in this run. So I'm going to hit him, then place down a Mine Square, then just hit him into the Mine Square. I'm going to run around him. Auqa. And then he gets hit in that. And he should die now. That was a very, very good fight. So you kind of just juggle him by hitting him around the Mine Square that you place around him. And then just like kill him right at the end. Now coming up into the boss fight with Hades and Ice Colossus. Ice Colossus isn't so bad, Hades is the problem one. Hades is a desperation move. That's kind of the first time where one really is effective against you. So a desperation move in this game is a boss's kind of super attack where they go invincible, and you can't do anything to stop him. So I'm going to kill Hades now because he's just far away.
Oh.
Okay, so that's his desperation move. I just kind of have to wait for him to finish doing it now. That's fine. So a DM there loses about 12 seconds. There's nothing much that you can do about it. It just happens sometimes. So basically, Hades can DM at any point throughout the fight. But after you kill Ice Colossus, his chance to DM just like quadruples. So the idea of that fight is you finish both Ice Colossus and Hades in the same combo. So you finish them both off at exactly the same time. So he has no chance of doing his desperation move. Cool. So next is Neverland. So I have to take a slightly slower route because I need to get a extra Firaga to fill out my deck for endgame. Oh god, what am I doing? That's what I want to do. So I put on 2 Ignites there for the boss fight. So I need to fill up my deck for endgame. So there's an extra Firaga in this world that I can pick up by just taking a top route in one of the larger rooms that we have to go through in this. So Neverland in Auqa's story is basically you start in the room where the boss fight is, and then you go on a big circle around the island, because in the plot you're going on a scavenger hunt with the Lost Boys. So you go around the island watching cutscenes, story reasons, and then you fight a boss in the first room that you were in. And now we get the pixie dust balls, which allow you to fly.
Out of nowhere platforming.
Out of nowhere platforming. Shout outs to Salad for actually knowing what film they came from. So I'm going to go up here. So up this path is a Firaga. If I had enough money in Deep Space to buy another Firaga, I could have just gone like straight forward and skip coming up here. So now I prepared Terra because I want to use Terra to get over the gap. So now slide dash. Slide dash. Cool. So I'm going to prep Ignite for the start of the next boss fight. So when you enter rooms with like your command deck over like specific commands, the game will remember what command you were over as long as you don't move it. So I use that here to make sure that I can mash out an Ignite as quick as possible. So this is Vanitas again. This time he's not affected by Magnet, so he's not as free. But he is affected by Ignite, so I can use that to abuse him. I'm just going to shoot fires at him and try not to...
Pathetic. Fire. Gotcha. Fire. Suffer. Fire. See ya. Pathetic. Fire. Fire.
So I have to concentrate because otherwise I will probably die. So basically after 10 hits, this guy will go under the ground.
Fire. Suffer. See ya.
I'm gonna fire him a bunch more.
Fire. Fire. Come on. Fire. 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 Suffer. Gotcha. Fire. Suffer.
He's really not cooperating.
He's really aggroed, but there you go.
You were very close to dying there.
I was very close to dying. I'm used to nearly dying in that fight because I usually just sit there and eat damage and hopefully he dies before I die. That's the optimal strat right there. Just hope the boss dies before you die.
And now we have our obligatory visit to Destiny Islands.
Yep, go Destiny Island for 2 seconds, then you just allow it. So now I get to go to the mysterious tower. Because, you know, plot reasons. I'm going to do a quick menu here, mostly to check how many high potions I've got, because that's our healing item for endgame, is we use high potions. And if I haven't got any, I need to buy some before going into the final boss segment. So put it on Pixie Petal, because it has more magic. Two, I'm going to buy some more. So in the boss segment, I'm going to lose some time because I'm going to sell some ignites and my 2 ignites, and I'm going to buy a few more high potions, mostly just for safety because I have done it with 2 before, but not worth the risk.
So upcoming here we have Keyblade Graver, which is obviously the final bosses and all, but we have like a mini room beforehand which is full of tornadoes, and on version 1.00 of this particular port, those moved way too fast, so you couldn't be able to avoid them.
On the base patch of this game, everything everything they edited to make 60 FPS just got whacked. So I'm gonna have to concentrate in this room because I need to move in a very specific way to dodge these tornadoes. And if I drop one input or go too slow, then I get caught. So the way these tornadoes work is only one can chase you at any one time. So I've just got to make sure that I'm going fast enough that only one of them's chasing me. Oh my god, one was right on my tail there. So, wait for them. Just buy as
I
many
think you might be fine.
I just clicked right because it's better than trying to like pick a specific amount.
Yeah, it's less inputs.
But I didn't end the run on 69 money, so you know it's all over.
Uh-huh.
Right, so next is the 2 final bosses. The first one up is Break. This fight is actually very easy to die to. Oh, I didn't mean to pause there. This fight is very easy to die to. If you get hit by the attack where he rings around you, then you're probably going to die. This attack here, if this attack hits you, you sometimes just die. So now I'm just gonna like mash out some.
Nice knowing you.
So on crit, we would have killed him before that spin around attack.
Yeah, you can actually kill him before he does a thing in the middle, but it's fairly hard to do. It's completely dependent on the set of attacks he decides to give you.
Okay, one more boss.
Yep, one more boss. So at the start of this next boss, I'm gonna place down my Mind Square, and then I'm gonna shoot some fires at him, and hopefully he dashes at me because he's got this dash attack. He's got this dash attack. He's got Sonic Blade, so hopefully he does Sonic Blade straight away, and I can get as much damage as possible in with the Mind Square.
And Mickey's just sitting there wanting to team up, which is the intended mechanic of the game.
Yeah, this is the intent. This is what you're meant to do in this fight.
And soon Vanitas will be beginning his DM where he becomes in the middle, and it will be a gigantic charge up, which Rebel can get a lot of damage in there.
Too slow.
Here it is.
Cool time, sorry. Oh, I didn't think that would hit. So that was Auqa. That was probably like a 52.
Yeah. 52, 53.
How do I know?
You play the game a lot.
Your estimate, you said to
Yeah,
me you
so-
thought you get 50-20?
There you go. That's Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep.
By Sleep.
Aqua Beginner in 52, 53. Where can people find you on Twitch? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my Twitch is RebelDragon95. I'm back here tomorrow playing more of this game, so you
Oh yeah, are you doing it again tomorrow?
Yeah, I've got to play this game again tomorrow.
Fair enough. So we'll see you then for another run.